North Korea's latest attempt to launch a spy satellite into orbit ended in failure. The rocket exploded shortly after liftoff, scattering debris over the sea. What went wrong with the launch? According to North Korean state media, the rocket failed because of instability in the engine and fuel system. They claimed that the engine malfunctioned due to a faulty valve that caused a sudden drop in pressure. This led to an imbalance in the thrust and a loss of control over the rocket's trajectory. The fuel system also had problems, according to the state media. They said that the fuel tank was not properly sealed and leaked fuel during the launch. This reduced the amount of fuel available for the engine and affected the rocket's performance. The state media blamed these technical errors on the lack of experience and expertise of the engineers and technicians involved in the launch. They said that they would learn from their mistakes and improve their technology for future launches. However, some experts have cast doubt on the state media's explanation. They suspect that the rocket failed because of external interference or sabotage. They point out that North Korea has faced many sanctions and restrictions on its missile and nuclear programs, and that some countries may have tried to prevent or disrupt its satellite launch. Some analysts also suggest that the state media's admission of failure was unusual and may indicate internal pressure or dissatisfaction with the regime. They say that North Korea usually tries to hide or downplay its failures and exaggerate its successes, and that this time it may have been forced to acknowledge its shortcomings. Whatever the reason for the failure, it is clear that North Korea's spy satellite ambitions have suffered a major setback. The country has not been able to put a satellite into orbit since 2016, and its latest attempt has only shown its technological limitations and vulnerabilities. The launch of North Korea's first spy satellite on Wednesday was a spectacular failure that triggered public confusion and security jitters in neighboring South Korea and Japan, which are wary of North Korea's growing weapons arsenal. The new Kolima-1 satellite launch rocket failed due to instability in the engine and fuel system, state news agency KCNA reported. The rocket and its payload plunged into the sea shortly after liftoff, and South Korea's military recovered some of the debris. The launch was the nuclear-armed state's sixth satellite launch attempt, and the first since it was supposed to put North Korea's first spy satellite in orbit, which would have enabled Pyongyang to monitor U.S. military activities in the region. However, the launch was widely seen as a cover for testing ballistic missile technology, which is banned by UN resolutions. The launch prompted emergency alerts and brief evacuation warnings in parts of South Korea and Japan. The notices were withdrawn with no danger or damage reported. However, the launch still caused public confusion and anxiety, as many people were unaware of the nature and purpose of the launch. Some people mistook the rocket for a missile attack and feared for their safety. The launch also raised security concerns among South Korea and Japan, which are both allies of the U.S. and targets of North Korea's threats. Officials from the three countries held a phone call, where they strongly condemned the launch and vowed to stay vigilant. They also urged North Korea to return to dialogue and refrain from further provocations. North Korea, however, showed no signs of backing down. After an unusually quick admission of failure, North Korean officials vowed to conduct a second launch as soon as possible, suggesting that Kim Jong-un remains determined to expand his weapons arsenal and apply more pressure on Washington and Seoul. The failed launch is a setback to attempts by Kim to boost his military capabilities amid rising tensions with the U.S. and South Korea.